Hi everyone. Welcome back to my little meditation series here on forgiveness. Um, if you missed the first one, we did a session on, um, forgiving someone who has hurt us in the past, who you may never get that direct of an apology from. And talked a little bit about how forgiveness is really about doing something for yourself, and processing sort of what's happened. Yeah, I've been reading a lot about like childhood trauma recently, and yeah, just really thinking about how that like probably cliche and overused saying that hurt people, but truly, like, all of us come with a certain story, and that story is what causes us to act the way that we do in relation with other people. Doesn't make it okay, but it's understandable within that context. And really, it's about empowering people to dig into those stories and overcome the power that they have over our lives so that we can write better, more healthier, happier, fun stories. Um, so yeah, today we're going to be doing a forgiveness exercise where you ask for forgiveness from somebody you hurt, because none of us are perfect. Absolutely none of us are perfect. And that is life, just, bopping around and doing shit sometimes that's not the greatest. And especially when you're like young and your prefrontal cortex isn't really fully developed. But we certainly can still continue to hurt people as we grow older. I just try to catch myself if I ever do that, and try to learn from it and make sure that I don't repeat that again. I think that's really the best any of us can do, is to try not to repeat things that are harmful. Um, so it's going to be an interesting little meditation here today. To open up our session for our tarot cards, y'all. Look what came up, Five of Swords. We love how accurate these are coming out to be. Five of Swords is kind of a confusing card. There's a lot that can be interpreted from it, but I think today's interpretation is definitely that in the card, it kind of talks about how, like, after a conflict, you may have been the victor of it, but were you really? Because you were fighting people, and putting out that kind of negative energy kind of comes back. And I really like one person's interpretation of it in asking, what are you really interested in? Are you interested in mutual progress or winning? So I think it's apropos that today we're going to be talking about, or doing a meditation on asking forgiveness for ourselves, because sometimes we're out there, we're fighting, we say shit we don't mean, we do shit that we don't want to be doing. But instead of holding on to that and beating ourselves up over it, we can release it and ask forgiveness. Sometimes that person that you did that to may have passed on. You may not have a connection with that person anymore, or it might feel too scary to ask forgiveness in person. If you can, I would encourage that you actually do eventually get to that point. But this is a really great first step. So we'll do our little meditation here. All right, I will ring the singing bell, and then I'll do a short little guided meditation, and then I'll close with the Samskritam shloka, which I'll explain at the end. And yeah, here we go. All right. So let's settle in for today. can sit in a comfortable position. Either ground your feet fully on the floor, or if you're sitting cross-legged, sort of feel you're sitting connected to earth. You can put your hands on your thighs if you're sitting in a chair, or on your knees if you're sitting cross-legged. And we'll start here with just some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. We'll do that 3 times. Now, as we settle in here, we'll breathe in through the nose and out through the nose for about a minute. Just sort of letting go of anything that you are bringing to the sit. Any thoughts that go by, instead of grabbing onto them, just letting them float by like a cloud. Now, in this relaxed state, I'd like you to picture someone you have hurt in the past. Try to pick somebody kind of in the middle range, right? Or, small to medium range that you've hurt. Not the biggest and the worst thing you've ever done to another person, but, an unkind word you said, a text you didn't respond to, whatever that might be. Just think of a person that you have hurt and have them sit in a chair across from you. Now, really see that person. And bring to mind whatever it is that you said or did to this individual. Feel that feeling of disappointment in yourself, regret, guilt, shame, how heavy all that feels. And looking at the person who's sitting across from you, ask them, will you forgive me for the harm I have intentionally or unintentionally caused you? that sort of fear and anxiety about asking another person for something, for forgiveness, the vulnerability. Now imagine that that person forgives you for all the harm that you have done, whether intentional or unintentional. Just feel that warmth and the relief. Somebody understands that you too are only human. Let's just sit in that warmth for a few moments. And now you can thank the person for their forgiveness, their understanding, their willingness to let things go. And feel yourself release that too, that harm that you had been holding on to. So good to let go. So good. And as this person leaves, perhaps you stand to hug them, shake their hand, wave goodbye, put your hand over your heart. Even though we hurt one another, it's just so nice to be connected to people. It's just so nice. All right. Just feel those feelings of space in your body as you've released that. And we will close the session with a few more deep breaths, just honoring the vulnerability and the graciousness. Now I will ring the bell here and recite a little shloka, and then we can return to the real world. Satoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amradam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And now I'll invite you to wiggle your fingers and toes and slowly open your eyes. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I think asking for forgiveness important if you're out here demanding forgiveness from other people. So, oh, the shloka that I recited, I should probably have a separate video with that, but I just like saying it. I like explaining it because it's beautiful. You say Om at the beginning and the end because Om is the universal sound. And in Hindu Buddhist philosophy, they believe that it's the sound that's at the beginning and the end of the universe, which is very beautiful. And so you say it at the beginning and the end, just to remind yourself of that infinite expansion and contraction. And then the shloka itself is asatoma satgamaya, which means from untruth to truth may I go. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya, which means from darkness to light may I go. And Mrityorma Amradam Gamaya, which literally I think translates to like from death to eternal life may I go. But I like, I don't know, like from like I like to think of it as more of like from being tied up may I experience liberation. I don't know. I think I change that word every time I explain it, but it's just a very beautiful shloka. And yeah, as you go about your day, I know I'm going to be thinking about forgiveness in this context of asking for forgiveness and also being willing to let go of things and not hold them to you. And then next week I will be doing a forgiveness meditation sit on forgiving yourself, which will I cry while we're doing that session? High likelihood. So check it out. But yeah, I hope you all have a lovely, beautiful day out there. And I'll see you next week.